Why, hello there. I get the good shit. Oh, yeah. And we have sound. So says the sound chick. Hi, Vinny. How's it going? No, it's 5:30, Vinny. Arkansas doesn't count. So today we were going to talk about creating a no-cost website, mainly because of the fact that there are so many of you guys who do not have digital real estate, and really you need to get that shit together. I don't know what other way to put this other than you need to get this shit together. People like Steve. God. God damn it! Just give me fucking bananas. That's all I'm you don't need to like
they'll give us plantains though. Just make sure it's bananas. Ship chocolate. I hate it when they do that though. They do get it confused. I understand.
1 second.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the importance of getting and obtaining and securing your digital real estate is really important, especially to your brand. Yeah. So,
Yeah. The reality is that digital real estate is your hedge against being part of social media, that you don't really own any of that. You just rent that space and it can be taken away from you at any point in time. So with that being said, we have to realize that there's no substitute for your own digital real estate. So the digital real estate that I use, I am heavily invested in using WordPress.com. It's a simple, intuitive tool. It was the only real free game around way back in the day that was actually like a website. It wasn't like a quickie message board or a post or like a single page. And I've been utilizing WordPress for writing projects that I was doing way back in the day, and that had blossomed into starting WordPress sites for many of the other projects. The network being one, ILMT being one of the others. Donna has started a few herself. ILMT is actually a paid-for website, so it actually doesn't even have the stub WordPress.com on it. It is just ILMT.com. Well, my ILMT.com. So there are options if you want to have a at no cost version of that. You do have to deal with there being markers for WordPress.com on your site, meaning they get to advertise their services on your site. You know, like there'll be like a little powered by WordPress.com that someone can click on, and they get the whole suite of what they can get for what price and what have you. As far as how far WordPress's interface has come, it hasn't really changed very much, but then again, it was very utilitarian from the get-go. So the additions that they added were not big changes to the backhouse. The backhouse configuration. They did update the image of it a little bit, but aside that, it's pretty much the same as it's been for the last, I don't know, since I started that. That was, 15 years ago?
Yeah, it hasn't really.
It
at
hasn't
all.
really changed, and it really doesn't need to because it's utilitarian. It's made for you to be able to see what kind of traffic your page is getting. Gives you basic on the free service. It gives you basic tracking
Free
uh,
templates.
and data collection. Basically, the data collection isn't like Facebook data collection. It's just, you know, age, sex, location where people are hitting your website from. So you can get a breakdown of whether you appeal more to men or women, whether you appeal to kids, adults, young adults, old people, and what countries. Now, as far as the building part, the theme part, and what have you, it's all pretty much, you know, click and go. And then as you click on your parts of your theme, your your theme then gets populated how you choose. You can change colors, you can change fonts. They have popular font pairings, you know, and they really want you to succeed because they really want, hey, buddy, they really want you to become a paying customer. The free advertisement of WordPress's services is great, and having content that which people might engage with is great for WordPress to be able to get involved um, with their own advertising. But at the end of the day, the preference for WordPress would be for them to get conversions, not only have more no-cost websites, but have websites that do pay subscription fees for um, commerce, for uh, the ability to go deeper into your analytics, um, uh, template choices. There are some that are offered with premium services that are not offered with free to use services. Um, really? All of these things really come together to make a pleasurable experience as far as developing your own website. Um, you can load all of your own stock art. You can uh, put all of your products there. You can blog about your creation process or actually your creations themselves. Um, and pretty much the sky's the limit for non-premium members. It's pretty close to that. For premium members, there's really nothing you can't do on a WordPress site. So with that being said, would you like to take over and do some chat?
Well, I mean,
So I'm running out of air.
well, I mean, even if you want to specialize your own domain name, there are, you know, ways to doing that. There's many components, but if you go through like WordPress, for example, all that can be done under like really cheap. Um, I utilize WordPress Easy WP is what it goes by under the Namecheap that I use for hosting. And we're looking, you know, about $10, maybe 12 at the most monthly for everything that I utilize. That's including the domain name for didactic space and the VPN and you know, just the regular hosting, you know, fees. So, I mean, it's a good way to definitely secure and lock in your domain name because if you have something that depends on it, like your brand, for example, I used to run well, I founded a network called Irritate the State, and I wanted to get the acronym ITS.net. So, and you could do that through the WordPress, and you'd have the WordPress extension and all that stuff, but for a small price, you could just get it, customized. So, yeah, and that's something else to really consider, especially if you have something that's, a really good branding name, is to get, even if it is a WordPress site, to get that locked in.
Mhm.
Because that I know people that come up with names for things all the time, and they go in and buy the domain names really cheaply, and they don't even have to have website attached to it. They secure that name,
Mhm.
and later build. I think my friend John Marsh over in Washington, he probably holds the record for that sort of thing. But yeah, it's very necessary because you don't want somebody else stealing your name.
That's right.
Yeah. So, and if you do think of something, pretty catchy and brand specific to you, there are ways of going and checking if those domain names and spaces are available for different. If somebody has it on lock and wants X amount of money, then you can go into whatever conversations about that with whoever, or pay the price. But that doesn't always happen. So yeah, I mean, check your brand. You go in and look for domain name availability, and sometimes like GoDaddy or WordPress or whoever, Namecheap, has a bargain for you. So package deal.
If it's not already available, I mean, that's the whole thing is certain domain names and whatnot, they're just not available because someone has already gotten it. And they may be someone who is a website domain name retailer, which apparently is a thing that exists, that they put website names up for sale, that if someone wants to start a business with this name, they have to pay.
Yeah, it's pretty much the concept of my friend John with the cannabis related URLs and web addresses and domain names, and he peddles them to the bigger fish. Yeah, so I mean, it's a good tactic, but yeah.
$1 million.
This cat needs, to be kept in a lifetime supply of kitty treats, or he will cause the chaoses, bring the ruckus. Yes, the ruckus. But yeah, we're seeing more and more of people making, the jump from Facebook and social media platforms because they don't like their information sold.
Well, not only that, but they are
don't
not
like
in
being
control.
products. Yeah.
They're not in control of their status on Facebook. There's been plenty of people reporting that their their reach is getting throttled. And if you're paying for ads and then those ads are just not being shown to people because Facebook decided your content is harmful on like a personal post and decides to block everything that's attached to you, well, that's a problem for business.
Mhm.
Chef Katrina actually put a post up, and she was, and in her post she asked, where would your business be if there was no Facebook? And that's something that everyone really needs to consider if they are doing business digitally and they are relying on social media for all of their marketing. Well, where would your business be if it wasn't there? And what would you do to make your digital business expectations get met if there wasn't a social media there for you to take advantage of?
Very legitimate question. I've owned and operated a number of businesses throughout my life, and a lot of that was before the existence of
The
social
Facebook.
media, Facebook and running organizations, doing stuff for
Not before social
prisoners.
media, because it wasn't before Yahoo Groups, unless it was before
Well,
the internet at all.
Yeah, some of it. Yeah.
There was a time before the internet.
I'm that old. I am older than that.
I'm older.
So he's ancient. Anyway, before we show our ages, yeah, go out there, do a domain name check before you stake all your money and promoting your brand. Go out there and make sure it's available first, and then you can continue to build. But get that digital real estate, make it unique, make it yours, so you're not pushed out of a cool concept or a great, name. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it. I think I'm gonna start making food.
Food does sound good.
I might do a soup. Food delivery people.
I'm intensely watching these two cats. There's some political posturing going on. What are you doing, Bubba?
All right, so I think we're gonna get going. Thank you everybody for coming by.
Guys.
Thanks everybody else who watches later. Just put a hashtag replay in there if you watch this later. Let us know that you're watching it.
Yeah.
We will see you tomorrow for Future Focus Friday.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.